Good afternoon and welcome to Pay Entry's weekly webinar. This week we're going to be talking about recruiting during a pandemic. It is much different now than it was a year ago. I'm Kathy Graham. I'm head of the HR services area at Pay Entry, and I want to welcome you today. In our old world, which was only last year, the unemployment rate was 3.5% in February of 2020. Companies really had to sell themselves hard to get the best candidates or to get candidates at all. 68% of HR professionals found that recruiting for full-time jobs was much more difficult because of the talent pool. 50% of companies cited factors such as the low number of applicants, the lack of needed work experience, and competition from other employers, causing great difficulty in hiring. 84% of HR professionals were seeing applied skills shortages in applicants. So the people they were interviewing did not have all the skills that they needed for the job that they were looking to fill. And many companies decided to train good candidates in the areas where they needed assistance. So in 2019, a slow hiring process meant that you might lose a good candidate. So speeding everything up was critical. In our new world, which is 2020, a year unlike others, the unemployment rate in July was 10.2%. Many companies have downsized and businesses have closed because of the virus, the pandemic that we're going through right now. Other companies are ramping up and new business strategies have been created. Grocery stores and other places that deal with the public during a pandemic had to increase staffing to deal with the influx of activity. The number of candidates now far outnumbers the available jobs, so that the talent pool is full of experienced individuals ready to go to work. That talent pool is overflowing. As I said, the recruiting climate quickly flipped from employers having lots of jobs and fewer candidates to fewer jobs and abundant of candidates. Technology in 2020 has become a critical issue when it comes to hiring and even employing individuals. With more job seekers and changes to workforce strategy, business leaders are adapting by using more technology. Applicant tracking systems with built-in screening technology have come to the forefront and are much more important now than they were last year. Pay Entry does have a hire and onboarding feature that comes with our system. If you're interested in learning more about that, please let me know and I'll have someone contact you. You can now do and have been able to do applicant assessments online, but more companies are using this because they are not interviewing in person. They're doing virtual interviews via Zoom or GoToMeeting or Teams, one of those types of applications. One example that I thought was interesting as far as assessments, CVS, the drugstore chain, has had a need to ramp up their employees, just like some of the grocery stores have. They were among many companies who used a system called virtual job tryout, and they added nearly 50,000 new employees in a little over a month. That sounds horrible to me, massively horrible. But the technology that they used offered a window into a candidate's likelihood to succeed at the company in ways that a simple interview, even face-to-face, may not discover. It tests their ability in the new role. It actually engages candidates with information about the company and the role and provided them with a window into the work experience so they could actually see what the job would be like. Virtual interviews, I mentioned, are popular now, using video conferencing instead of face-to-face meetings. There are a few of the applications that I mentioned about the video recruiting that are being used. The structure for the meeting is important. This is whether you do it in person or virtually, but in a virtual environment, you really need to pay attention to the types of questions that you're asking, the time limit that you're giving people to respond, and other things. If you're able to record the event, and you are on many of these applications, it's a good idea because then you can go back and review the interview, or you can have someone else look at it also. More than one interviewer at a time can be a good approach for speeding up the interview process. The use of assessments is more critical and more important than ever. With hiring assessments, you can test for personality traits and soft skills, strong indicators of a candidate's personality fit with the role and the organization, making sure that someone is fit for your culture or is a fit for your culture is very important. The results of assessments can tell you if this candidate that you are very high on would likely be successful in the role or not. On-site interviews are still occurring. Manufacturing, restaurants, service workers, and a number of other companies. Make sure that if you are doing on-site interviews, you have a plan for ensuring that that space is safe and that the person feels safe. Use social distancing, hand sanitizer, masks, all of those things are critical. You can even have those plastic panels that they use at some um, drugstores and grocery stores now. But the environment for the interviews should mirror the actual precautions that you're taking in the workplace right now. If you still are a little leery of having someone sit across from you in a chair while you're talking to them, you can consider drive-in interviews. Just like they have drive-in testing, many things are done while the individual is still in their vehicle. Medical exams have become a bigger question for those who are hiring right now. These medical exams have to be requested post-offer. That means you have to offer someone the job with a condition that they pass a test, a medical exam. And those are tricky. So if you are going to do one, you need to make sure that anything that you're asking to be evaluated in a medical exam is actually important to the job. Most of the time nowadays, it's just a COVID test. Companies are requiring one of these tests prior to hire, and so that they can make sure that they're not bringing someone into the workplace that will impact their staff. You need to make sure that you're consistent in testing all those who've been offered a job, not just one here and one there. Anytime you're doing something in human resources, we will tell you to be consistent. Test everyone or don't test anyone at all. Remember that the person testing positive that's not a reason not to hire the person. It is a reason to delay the start of employment. Your time to hire may change dramatically. Speed in hiring is still important. It's important to make decisions wisely, but and for the best of the company, but don't linger. Paying attention to your metrics is very important when you change the process. Virtual processes may help you hire more quickly and efficiently. However, if you find that anything that you're doing is slowing down the time to hire, you do need to research an alternative. Make sure that the candidate experience is a good one. This has been a requirement for years, but it is even more important today. Even if more applicants are available, you still need to make a good impression to get that candidate's interest. They have lots of options now for that particular type of job, and they are interested in knowing about your company, what the employee experience is, and how it is to work for your company. Some people will take a job just to have a job, but most people are still looking for something where they can stay. Sorry about that. Fast, efficient, and courteous interactions are the key. Be mindful of their time. Ensure that they're aware of your culture and the employee experience, and make the process as easy as possible for them. To adapt the way you recruit, going from the old world to the new world, take a step back. Look at where you are right now. What is your process? What's slowing down the process that you have right now? And does it meet the needs in today's uh, problematic society that we're in with the 6 feet apart? If you're doing face to face now or in 2019 and you need to do virtual now, your process is going to change. So take a look at where your bottlenecks have been and where they might be in a virtual environment. Trade face to face with virtual. Enhance your process with online assessments. This is very important, and involve others in the review of the process, because more people the more people that are involved in determining a process, the better input you're going to have and the better acceptance of the process that you put in place. Going forward, make sure that you periodically take a look at your recruiting process. The things that you have put in place need to be reviewed to make sure that they're working correctly and efficiently. When new technology is available and affordable, of course, make changes as you can. Ask for feedback from your candidates to gain insight into the experience that they had while interviewing with your company. This is a good way to get feedback and to revise your current policy and process to make it a better one. And then make sure you develop a plan for communication to applicants and your current staff, making sure that all are informed each step of the way in a timely manner. Now we have time for questions. If you have any, could you please type them into the question box and we will answer those. I want to thank you for coming today. If you need any help with your HR needs, let us know. We're at hrservices@payentry.com, or you can reach out to me personally. Thanks for attending today and have a great afternoon.